I'm Chatrika Kannangara, and currently I'm a PhD research student at University of Bolton. But I'm very happy to say, rather than PhD student of University of Bolton, I would rather say I'm a former lecturer of CIRP. My presentation is on positive psychology interventions for dyslexia. I have put this bracket and learning differences because of one of the experiences I have had. So if anybody have a problem, and if anybody want to look at dyslexia in a negative concept or in negative light, so we can always call it as learning differences, because I have had this experience when I was visiting a school in Washington, and they don't call dyslexia or dyspraxia or any of these disabilities as a disability or a disorder. So they rather said that, shall we call it within the school learning difference? So yes, I would like to. So I have taken it forward, but still due to my restrictions in terms of obtaining sample or restrictions of categorizing them or obtaining my right group of people for the for the research, I have taken the term dyslexia still taken forward. This is just to give, I'm sure many of you all are aware about what is dyslexia is. It is to do with reading and writing. They have challenges in reading and writing area, but they are intellectually average or above average. So, but at the moment there are a lot of debates going on, and it is not currently, and it has been since several years, because dyslexia, there are two perspectives. From the clinical perspective, they say that it is a neurobiological disorder, it's a neurological disorder, or it has neurological basis behind it, and the academics, people from educational aspect, they say that it is not necessarily biological or neurological, it's rather something to do with learning or learning during the primary level, primary school. So again, for my research, I'm not interested at what the cause is, because I'm interested at looking at a positive aspect, positive angle towards dyslexia. So, and also, top of all these debates and arguments, there is another issue which had already arrived, which is this SLD, or specific learning disorder. The new DSM criteria has given specific learning disorder as the broader term, and dyslexia is not specified, but dyslexia is within, same as DSM-4 diagnosis, dyslexia is within the broader term of specific learning disabilities. So I would like to ask this question from the audience. There is no right or wrong answer. So would anybody wish to have dyslexia? This is a very strange question, but if somebody would like to answer, I'll be very happy. I was expecting that if there is somebody who is dyslexic, but I'm sure that I would rather expect somebody who do not have dyslexia to answer this question. How you look at dyslexia? So you want to have it or you don't want to have it? This is just like that, do you want to be blind? But there is a slight difference. Because that's an understanding of dyslexia, no? Okay. Anybody else have any? Pardon, sir? You said learning differences. In what context? Dyslexia is a challenge which is to do with reading and writing, but not intellectually. I have already mentioned, and that is the same diagnosis criteria I am taking forward that you normally have for dyslexia. Okay. Right, with that thought, I'm not answering the question because it's up to you to decide at the end of my presentation. So I'm taking that answer forward. So Sindhuja already had given me an insight that she doesn't want to have dyslexia. I'm sure again you all know this person, or many of you all know. Anybody recognize? Thank you. But strangely, I have presented this same slide in University of Bolton. Nobody answered the question. So I'm so happy somebody answered from here. Okay, that is Malcolm Gladwell. But he's not a dyslexic, but he's very important, and he had inspired half of my research. You will understand why it is. Malcolm Gladwell says, dyslexia is a desirable disorder. Very interesting term, desirable disorder. In his famous book, David and Goliath, he had dedicated a chapter, which is the 4th chapter in David and Goliath, which talks about David Boies. David Boies is a famous lawyer in United States, and he's very famous, and he's involved in many high-profile cases in United States. And he is a dyslexic, but he is a very well performer. So this is where Malcolm Gladwell had talked about dyslexia in a positive light. How dyslexia can be desirable. So I have come across one very interesting research which was done by Neil Alexander Paase. He's from Bengal. Creativity and dyslexia. So he had attempted to find out the level of creativity among the individuals with dyslexia, and his preliminary research says that they excel visually and they are high in creativity. But when I looked at many other directions in terms of dyslexia, I couldn't find the people talking more positive about dyslexia, and it was always what are the challenges that they have, what are the difficulties that they face, but not that what they are excelling in. So, but Neil Alexander Paase is one of the pioneers who have done this step into this field. Then apart from that, if I go on naming the people, the inspirational personalities in this field, in different fields, in every field you would find several people who have had dyslexia, but they have excelled in their fields. Especially to do with, there is a new concept coming up that why most of the entrepreneurs are dyslexic. So Richard Branson is one of my best examples, which I find very fascinating to listen to his story and how he became this well-known entrepreneur, and who is a very famous person, and he is the owner of Virgin. And Richard Branson, he says that the unusual thinking and his out-of-the-box thinking had helped him to be this person today. So, and he also looked at, and then he had found out this different branch which would help him excel in the area. So David Boies again, and there are many actors, sportsmen, and lawyers, teachers, scientists, those who are having already dyslexia, but they have excelled in the field. This had inspired a lot for this research, which I am currently involved in. And then I was thinking how I can take it forward positively, because now I'm looking at a positive angle. I'm looking at what they can do other than what they can't do. So we know that they do reading and writing, or some of them can do, but they need little extra time. So I was trying to find out how do I approach this, what they can do aspect, avoiding what they can't do. Then this was, the positive psychology had been the best approach that I could think of. So I found this very fascinating. The statement given by Professor Seligman: I do not believe that you should devote overly much effort to correcting your weaknesses. I believe that the highest success in living and the deepest emotional satisfaction comes from building and using your signature strengths. So that's from Martin Seligman's Authentic Happiness book. So this current research is focused on identifying strengths among individuals with reading and writing difficulties, or you can call it dyslexia. But why I am always keeping it open to reading and writing? Because I'm considering to do the same research in Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, if I go and ask from students who are studying in higher education or universities, they will say that we don't have dyslexia, and we can't be in this university if we have had dyslexia throughout my education in Sri Lankan curriculum. So, but I have had several experiences speaking to people. They claim themselves having dyslexia, but they have reached the master's level even in Sri Lankan curriculum. So, considering this positive approach, I have selected Values in Action survey, which is developed to identify signature strengths. It has 24 signature strengths. What it would give the output as 24 signature strengths in the order 1 to 24. It will never say the 24th one is a weakness. But some people argue that 24th one is a weakness, it is not a strength. But however it is, I am more interested in the first 5 that whatever the participants' output would be after completing the survey. But the challenge is, there is 240 questions in this survey. And we are talking about people with having the challenge with reading and writing disability, reading and writing areas. So I was thinking, what should I do to deal with this 240 questions? If somebody have any idea that what could possibly do with 240 questions, but I want to conduct this survey because it is one of the highly validated surveys which is online, because I want to do it online. The reason is that then it can reach to many more participants, and I will have larger sample, and which I would be able to take it to other countries. So this VIA strength survey, it has 24 character strengths that are universal across all aspects of life: work, school, family, friends, and community. 24 strengths fall under 6 broad virtues: wisdom, courage, humanity, justice, temperance, and transcendence. Developing character strengths can have a significant impact on quality of life, as well as a positive effect on relationships, careers, and personal growth. So these are the reasons why I chose this tool to have as part of my PhD research. So as a counterattack to this 240 question, reading these 240 questions, I developed this website called www.desirabledyslexia.com. So from today onwards, this is online, so anybody could be able to log in and complete the VIA survey. But what I say, anybody means somebody who do not have a reading or writing challenge will not be able to go ahead, because the moment you answer no, you won't be allowed to. But we are directing you to the survey in order to identify your own strengths, because I don't want to demotivate anybody. So I will be directing you to the VIA Institute website, where you can again take up the same survey, but not in the Desirable Dyslexia website. So if you look at the website, there is a function that where you can change the entire interface of the website. The text to voice option is there in order to read all the 240 questions. So the computer will read it for you. Each question have a button where you can press it, and then it will read for you. And then you can change the background color. This is on the basis of British Dyslexia Association guidelines. Many researchers have identified green or some blue backgrounds are helpful to read, other than having a white background and black ink. So I have incorporated all that, and you can change the background color, you can change the font size, and I also have got 2 fonts which was developed specifically for dyslexia, and those 2 fonts are being developed on the basis of the research findings according to the challenges that people with dyslexia facing. So if somebody is finding Times New Roman is better, you can always use that. But if somebody wants dyslexia font, you can choose that. So these are the changes that we did, and you can also change the text size, font size. So that way I made it accessible for the people who are having the challenge, because this was an ethical consideration when I was about to submit my ethics form. I'm not allowed to induce more stress than other than what they already have. So I have tried my level best to counterattack this. This is the website. So you would be able to log in and find out more functions what they have, but this is still we are incorporating many other aspects which is there, but at the moment you will be able to log in and do the survey in the website. The positive aspect with the website is the moment you do the survey, you will be receiving your results. So this is how it would function. As for each statement, there is a button which you could play it and listen to the question. So this will identify the top signature strengths of individuals with dyslexia. Development of the dyslexia-friendly interface to present VIA survey has been approved and accepted by the Ethics Committee of Bolton. And the population is adult students with dyslexia. So I'm talking about college and above, not the school level at the moment. Sample size for the first phase, we're planning to obtain 500, but it is open and it will be kept open for several years. So we can do further research according to the sample that we would obtain later on. Aim to develop positive psychology interventions using common strengths identified through the VIA survey, as well as other positive techniques. And apart from this, in order to understand more thoroughly, I'm also conducting at the moment, both of these are simultaneously undergoing the case study as well as the survey data collection. So the case study is with 10 case studies. The 10 cases are being picked up on the basis of their academic and professional success performances, though the individuals who are already having dyslexia. So that's the end of my research. So I don't have any findings because the research is ongoing and data collection is still ongoing. If you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer.
Let's appreciate the presenter first.
Yes, I appreciate your effort. Let me show your title. We'll go through title.
Just one question, I think.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to. Yes. You have written your title, Positive Psychology Intervention for Dyslexia. Dyslexia, and in bracket you have written learning differences. There is no need of writing learning differences because dyslexia you define in terms of reading and writing, something like that. Learning differences should not be written there. My second question to you is that you have to be very clear about positive psychology. It's a broad field. Positive psychology intervention you have written, isn't it? There are number of parameters of positive psychology.
Sir, can you keep your question
ma'am, I would like to bring it for the audience. What is there? See, positive VIA for your, please. VIA is one kind of intervention program. You should write that effect of VIA program on dyslexia. And you have to mention the intervention program for VIA only.
Okay.
This is your research.
Yes, sir.
And without result, you are telling us here something. We have to be here on international language, international conference level. We have to be with our result and clear idea. I'm not satisfied about positive psychology. Positive psychology is a very broad view.
Yes,
we
are can we give her an
this
opportunity?
Should not be a title. This is my suggestion. Yeah. I'm not here for fault finding, please. I'm here for suggestion.
Let us give an opportunity for the presenter to defend, probably if not now, maybe short, present your defense to that, I think.
Do I have time?
Yeah, you can take around a minute.
All right. The question 1, which is dyslexia and learning differences, I have clearly mentioned why I have used dyslexia and bracket learning differences. The reason is, in Sri Lanka, you don't find people with dyslexia. The reason why we don't have a diagnosis at the moment, I would like to ask Lakmal, if Lakmal is around, because I know he is developing a diagnostic criterion for dyslexia. Okay, in Sri Lanka, we don't have a validated diagnosis for dyslexia. So if I ask somebody, are you a dyslexic? I won't be able to find a person. But in the next moment, I'm trying to be putting this forward more positively, because the moment I say that positive psychology, I'm trying to develop a positive psychology intervention for dyslexia, and I'm again talking about a label. The dyslexia itself is a label. We are labeling people with these names, which is sometimes a terrible experience since our childhood when you get this label. So that's the reason that if we can call them learning it's a learning difference other than a dyslexic, that is. Yes. So that's my.
Can we allow her to present, please?
The first, finding out 5 signature strengths itself is becoming an intervention. The reason is, the moment you get assurance, I am so good in this